recording? Okay, we are on the air. This is a common council meeting to be held Tuesday, March 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. The meeting is called to order. Would you please call the roll?
Alderperson Juzwicki.
Present.
Alderperson Kastner.
Present.
Alderperson Akers.
Present.
Alderperson Sarian.
Present.
Alderperson Bailey.
Present. Item B is opening prayer. We have Pastor Rogers here this evening.
So thankful to see all of you and stand before you. Very we live in the greatest nation in the world, and of that, I love this city. I love the city of Greenfield, and of that, I love you guys. And so thankful for the privilege of standing here. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your hand in our lives and all of your blessing. This beautiful city that we live in, and all of these wonderful people that serve. I pray, Lord, over the citizens in our city, that you would bless them. I pray for our police and our fire departments, that you would protect them and bless them. Thank you for our city leaders, God, that you would lead and guide them and bless them in every corner of their life. Bless this city, bless our leaders. In Jesus' name I pray. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, and thank you, Lord, for the food that they've already eaten.
And thank you for the
And
chicken
we love
on
you,
Forest
too.
Home. What's your address on Forest Home? Yeah. We'll plug you for sure. If you would please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's move along to item D, which is approval of the March 4th,
Make
2020.
motion to approve those minutes.
Alderperson Bailey, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Akers, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This is a mayor's report. This could potentially be my last mayor's report. Voting started today. Former Alderperson Sherbarth, my opponent's in the crowd. It's nice to see you here. So going into this election, it's been 20 years, right? No one knows. I encourage everybody to vote. We're both putting signs up. We're both doing all the stuff that we need to do, right? I just kind of wanted to reflect a little bit on 20 years. April 1st is the true election. It's April Fool's Day. I don't know what that means. That might be some sort of omen. But in the last 20 years, I was an alderperson for 7 years before running for mayor and winning by 116 votes way back then. When I was an alderperson, this body looked much different than it looked and behaved much different than it does today. People would tune in on cable TV on Tuesday nights for the Tuesday night fights. Nothing seemed to get accomplished. And we've kind of come a long way in 20 years. So if this is my song and Mr. Sherbarth is the next mayor, I wish him the best of luck in the endeavor. We've done a lot in 20 years. We've rebuilt the police department, the law enforcement center, which was in the existing library. The library was improved with the largest fundraising I think we've ever done in the city. And we recycled the building. The law enforcement center, which was in complete disrepair, where literally the jail cells were not habitable and criminals would regularly escape through the ceiling tiles, was rebuilt into the new law enforcement center with safe and secure sally ports, the best technology, and a good place for the people in blue that work to defend and keep us safe every night. There wasn't the library next door, which went in, apparently, and I don't know if this is true, but it was supposed to have a basement originally, wasn't it?
We didn't put the basement in because of the weight of the books.
Yeah, so the building, which was supposed to be 20,000 square feet,
Yes,
ended up being 10,000 square feet and was probably obsolete from the moment it was built. But that being said, it was a library that was brought into the city. When I first got elected 20 years ago, and we were talking about putting the library where the existing police department, or the former police department was, there was talk and passing a vote up here, I think it was 3-2, to not sell the old library and to convert it into a community center. We did that for about $650,000, most of which was grant money. And I don't remember what federal program there was. It was an energy program back there to do that. We currently pay the operating expenses of that building with the billboard that's out in front of it for the most part. The building has no shortage of people leasing the space, which also goes back into it. Back then, we didn't have a farmer's market, and Conkle Park didn't look like it looks today. Back then, it was a large field with a couple softball diamonds and a volleyball court, kind of poorly placed next to the aging parking lot. Today, you wouldn't even recognize Conkle Park. Much of that work was done by our DPW. Much of it was done through generous donations from Dan Jansen Fest and others, Cobalt, when they helped us with the beer garden patio thing. The amphitheater we did for, I think, about $250,000. It was installed by our employees and built by our employees, saving substantial dollars. We redid the back half of Conkle 2-3 years ago. Formerly kind of unusable space is now full of trails, a pond, a lake or pond. I don't know what's in between a lake and a pond, but a very large retention body of water that has a fishing pier on it. We've done a lot of stuff.
The trails.
The Power Line Trails, funded in great part with grant money, significant grant money. The Conkle Park, what was improved in the back was significant grant money from a lot of different sources. A lot hats off goes to Jeff and the other folks that work so diligently to scour for grant funding. So that we can do those things. Those things aren't, for the most part, and Tim, our finance secretary, will heed me, tax dollars, right? Some of those grants have matches associated with them, but spending $1 to get 4 or 5 back has always been a wise investment within the community.
Can I also say I talked to a resident who lives in Greendale, prefers Greenfield, but lives in Greendale, and he commented he didn't grow up in Greenfield or Greendale, but he let me know that Greenfield roads are much better than Greendale's, and we plow so much better than them. And knowing our history, we were like the...
Yeah, so back in the day, it was like you could definitely tell the delineation between us and the neighboring communities, all of the communities, in fact. Layton Avenue was
They have bridges over the ditches.
yeah, I mean, Grange Avenue, right? I was born in Grange. It was a 2-lane blacktop asphalt road. Most of the streets in the city were. Alderperson Sherbarth back in the day, I think led the effort to back in the 80s, led the effort to make the quarter section streets wider and safer and to light them. But since then, we've rehabilitated neighborhoods. We put in sidewalks where others didn't want to do it, when we can do it, when it's legal to do it. We really have, we've really done a lot for our city. And I'm very proud if in 2 weeks or whatever it is, right? If I'm not sitting here in 2 weeks and you're sitting up here in 2 weeks, I will still be very, very proud of what we managed to accomplish. This meeting isn't a Tuesday night fight meeting anymore. I'm not sure that people tune into it to watch things be thrown and the barbs be lobbed at everybody out. It was a heck of a time back then. Alderperson Kastner, you weren't in it.
I came in at the end of it. I had very little.
You came in at the end of it? Yeah, no, but it was pretty dysfunction. What that dysfunction does, by the way, is it prevents people who want to invest in your community from investing in your community. People like the guy here who donated chicken here tonight, right? I hope you're here for a really long time, but people don't invest their money in our community if they think it's run by a bunch of dysfunctional people. And truth be told, we have some of the best staff around. I'd like to introduce Anna, who's our newest member, who works up in planning and economic development. She comes to us from another community, which wasn't as nice as Green. I don't know. It was probably really nice. We hire good people. Jennifer right now is doing our elections again. These things are chaotic as can be. The rules change literally by the moment. the number of open records requests and requests for information and requests for lists and requests for policies and procedures and requests for guidance are unbelievable. And I'm so happy that Jennifer's here. I'm so happy that Jeff's here. I'm so happy that Gina and Anna, now Anna, are here. And I'm so happy that the rest of the employees and Julie back there. I'm so happy that we have perhaps the most professional leadership that the city has ever had. So that being said, that's my mayor's report. Whoever you vote for, whether it's me or whether it's Dave, I know Dave has his heart in the right place. I know that he cares deeply about the city like I do. I just think I'm better. So with that being said, that's my mayor's report for the evening. Is there an aldermanic report? Is that a tree report?
Not today, Mike.
I can give a bit of a tree report. Towering Woods over on, I always get Howard and Morgan mixed up. Howard, right? By the water tower?
Yeah, 86th.
So just so you know that Woods has been our DPW crew, which includes a couple of certified arborists, went through, removed the underbrush and the noxious invasive species, the buckthorn and the dead ash trees and all that stuff. It was treated so that stuff wouldn't grow back. And we're looking forward to introducing the new Joan Stevens Park within the city, I can't speak, aptly named after Joan, who lives very, very close to that park, and I probably drives by it every day.
I do have
I
something.
took a walk past that, or in the park, and they have wood chips throughout the entire trail.
Yeah.
I walked the entire trail, and it's very nicely done.
It's very nicely done.
I do have a report.
And
Just to say that the tree clearing going on 894 on the south side
I was
is-
gonna, I
has
forgot about.
started, and the noise barriers
Yeah.
sometime after July, right?
Yeah, so I was gonna talk about, I don't know if it's an announcement or if it's a mayor's report, but the sound barriers that we fought so aggressively for since 1980s, 4 of them are scheduled to be installed, start to be put up in July. They are starting to remove the vegetation along 894 where those 4 walls will go. I was also informed that Senator Carpenter, Bob Donovan, Karen Kirsch, and I'm missing one.
Was it-
Van
begins with a W.
Vanguard,
Vanguard, yeah.
and we have another representative too, did you know that? Jesse Rodriguez.
Okay.
Actually has a small part of Greenfield that, I met her this week, she sits on the Joint Finance Committee, which is a nice thing. It sounds like that there was $19 million placed into the budget for 894 for the rest of the sound barriers. Now, I heard that sort of through the email that I think I forwarded to all of you.
was copied, yeah.
I'm still trying to get a handle on that. I don't know, Alderperson Caster, if that includes the sound barriers where the county truck went through the fence and ended up in somebody's front yard where the driver ultimately died. I don't know if the barriers are there, but we will continue to aggressively push that.
Thank you.
This
You
might
read
be-
my
So
mind.
does that mean that my area is going to have more
I'm not
sound
sure.
barriers?
So this is the thing, this is an announcement. All I know is that there's another $19 million put into the budget, and it includes the installation of additional sound barriers. I'm told, the budget hasn't passed yet, right? But I'm told that it includes the ones that were contemplated. I suspect because
There was those
Representative
studies
Kirsch
done.
represents the area east of Loomis, that the sound barriers for that are
No,
also included, but I
she's
don't-
actually west because
she's west now,
is it
where
changing
where
again?
Donovan was. She took some of Bob Donovan's,
Yeah, which is
by
the west side.
but she also represents the east side, and I know that her and Senator Carpenter have been very supportive of making sure that all of the barriers go in where they should be.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to pass and it's going to go in, but we're a heck of a long way from where we were 3 years ago.
I would assume, I know this DOT stated because we had the study done in this area that this was a, a
So
positive, but we don't know if they expanded it.
So we
yet.
don't know, I don't know at all whether they have or they haven't, but we continue.
19 million is a big number, if what we had was 6.
It was
Was it
7.
7.
It was 7 what we had.
But then again, when we started that
It was
journey, it was only about, I was told it was 5 million to put them in, and then the cost escalated. The other thing to report is last year, as you know, trying to get our own zip code for the city, or 2, maybe, but the bill wasn't written that way. HR 672, I think it is, if my mind is right, has been introduced. One of the co-sponsors is Representative Fitzgerald. The other one is Representative Steele, to include Greenfield in the bill to have its own zip code. Last year, there was a bill, and I can't remember what that number was, 8753, I think, that made it through the House, made it through the Senate, and wasn't signed by the president, so it didn't become law, and it started all over again. One of the first things that happened this year is that a new bill was promptly introduced. Okay, so that's kind of a big deal. That would be nice, whether it's one zip code or 2. Zip codes define who we are in the world, especially in the digital world. It's important that we
Especially
have
with
1 or 2 of our
Milwaukee
own.
taxes,
What?
especially with the city of Milwaukee taxes.
Yeah, I mean, so there was a cable provider in our community that for 2 or 3 months was charging the Milwaukee sales tax, and it was quite a challenge to get it resolved. All right, that's that. Any announcements for anybody? Vote.
Oh, vote, right. I just, excuse me, attended a kickoff meeting for the construction of Wisconsin 241, College Avenue to Layton Avenue. The project will improve approximately 2 miles of roadway, including resurfacing pavement by milling the existing asphalt and overlaying with new asphalt, replacement of traffic signal equipment at various locations, concrete pavement repairs at the Layton Avenue intersection, and replacements of curb ramps to meet ADA standards. They're going to start the first week in April, and the finishing time is supposed to be mid-September.
In case they don't know, that's 27th Street.
Oh, yes, thank you. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, and I was going to put this in my newsletter, but just
There's too much.
43rd Street has begun in earnest between Cold Spring and Howard. Right now, it's currently closed because they're laying underground a huge power cable underneath the road. Urge everybody to stay out of there. We'll begin pretty soon the first half of resurfacing neighborhood around 31st and Holmes. We wanted to do the whole thing at once, but with the costs of borrowing and construction, it's a 2-part project. Street lighting is going to be upgraded on Edgerton Avenue between Loomis and 76th Street, and Grange between 27th and 48th. And that's through, are those grants, Jeff? Yeah. There's also a street lighting upgrade on 68th Street, the entire city north to south. So those will be replaced with energy efficient lighting. WISDOT has begun I-894 now. It was supposed to be done, as we know, last year, but there were some sewers that were not where they apparently thought they were going to be. That resurfacing should be done this summer. Forest Home is going to be resurfaced from Highway 100 to 45th Street.
They're also, though, on the freeway starting from 84th to, is it Lincoln, Jeff? Yes. So another project is they're going to finish up our stretch, but then
Keep going.
continue on to
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Yeah, Forest Home's gonna get resurfaced, and 27th is gonna go through a pretty substantial resurfacing too this year. So most of our major other people's roads are set for some kind of rehabilitation.
But the Loomis Bridge is open.
And the Loomis Bridge is open, and I guess I should finally bring up with the turf. Grind Line is returning the first week of April, assuming weather holds, to begin finishing it. I think they expect about a month and a half, maybe 2 months to complete it. The DPW crews have already been out there stabilizing around the edges of the site. We have a whole bunch of trees that are coming in the middle of April probably, that are currently still in the ground that will be going along the park and the freeway through a grant with MMSD. So that's a good
And
sign.
there's lots of talk online about the park, lots of anticipation, people
So
waiting.
I don't do Facebook or any of that stuff, but my son sent me a screenshot of some skate group somewhere where there were 1.4K, is that 1,400K likes, that was referencing the turf.
That could be million, 1.4 million.
No, I don't,
I-
yeah, it was, yeah, there were 18 million people, no, it's not, but it's,
There.
so the fevers are spreading. I mean,
It is.
today, I mean, we urge people not to be out there skating it. Today, every day, there have been folks that are skating the street park and being responsible.
We
but
don't
there-
know yet when there's going to be a ribbon cutting or
So
opening. or-
we are penciling
Kickoff.
in June 7th to be the official ribbon cutting.
That's my
I am
present.
told that Thrasher Magazine, which is the skateboarding Bible, I'm told, and with a little B, not a big B, a little B Bible, is doing an exclusive story on the turf. It'll probably, my understanding is that there is the potential to have 10 or 12 of the world's best skateboarders come in. Tony Hawk isn't one of them that I'm aware of, just somebody's gonna ask me that. But they're coming in, hopefully a week or so before, where they're gonna be filming stuff for media and stuff. That's like it's a big deal, right? I'm just still trying to figure out how to get them all here, but that's another story. Yeah, no, it's pretty darn exciting, right? I think we have all of our sponsors now for all our events at the AMP. So all the music and all the stuff that happens at the AMP is sponsored by folks that pay for it. The revenue that we receive from beer sales and soda sales and other sales continues to churn through the system to make sure that we can pay for stuff the following year. Everyone is always, oh, my taxes no, your taxes really aren't paying for that. It's self-sufficient if you create the structure to do it for the most part. So that being said, any citizen commentary tonight, Mr. Sherbarth? Did you sign up for a citizen commentary?
Yeah,
You want to go on up there?
answer questions. You answered one of them, when the skateboard, dedication is gonna take place. The other, and you answered the other question about the zip code that started all over again. I wanted to ask about what was voted on the county section of road between 60th and 76th. That is in terrible condition.
Which one?
Layton Avenue.
So beginning in 2026, between 60th and 68th, that will be reconstructed using a TIF, not taxpayer dollars, in cooperation with Milwaukee County.
They're gonna tear it all up,
They're going to completely reconstruct it,
just to
That's the-
68th.
60th to 68th.
Oh,
So it's a county highway, and
Yeah.
if it hadn't been for the city's ingenuity and willingness to extend a TIF, the Meyer TIF, right? The road would not have been even contemplated by the county.
It's a shame the county didn't take care of that stretch the way they took care of Loomis Road.
And that was a
put-
state highway though, so the state highways are taken care of differently.
That
'Cause
was
there's more
put in the same year my wife was born, so that's 70-some years old, and it's in beautiful shape, so, yeah, they goofed up there. The other thing I wanted to ask is, have we approved, how close are we to approval on Spring Mall, getting rid of it?
So the update on Spring Mall, as long as we're in mayoral, because I can't answer your questions, but I can revert back to
The mayor's report?
mayor's report. As far as mayor's report goes, there is one item remaining with regard to one of the landowners upon which a leased business sits. Does that make sense?
One of the landowners, okay, because those parcels are all separate and,
No, they're not, well, so when it was Spring Mall back in the day, here, I'll tell you a story under mayor's report.
yeah, we used to go to W.T. Grant all the time, yeah.
So at one time, Whole Foods wanted to go in on 76th Street,
Right,
and you know why they couldn't?
no,
Because Kohl's, which once owned the property, still had a restrictive covenant on the property
oh, geez.
prohibiting grocery stores. So at
Cold, you said.
the Cole family, so when they owned most of the land, Southridge was actually supposed to be north of Edgerton as well.
Oh,
But they owned the property, and when they sold it, there were restrictive covenants on the property that they sold, basically saying that a grocery store can't go here for a certain period of time,
Talking Rogan shoes.
somewhere over there. No, somewhere, I don't, somewhere near PetSmart and Office Depot was in there.
That's where,
So, yeah, so those kinds of things. So with Spring Mall, when Walgreens was split off, it
Yeah.
carried with it certain property rights with regard to parking at Spring Mall. And Walgreens leases their store from somebody, a long-term lease. The owner of the property from which they lease has the property rights underneath the store, which extend in to Spring Mall beyond its boundaries. So that is right now what is holding up the sale of Spring Mall.
but, oh, yeah, yeah.
And then there were
Messy
probably a
situation.
dozen things or more that were holding up the ultimate sale. Almost everything has been resolved except for that. And that's currently in the hands of the lawyers representing the interest.
I think the short
Yeah.
answer is soon.
I hope so.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we used to have a swimming pool over there at Spring Mall.
I never remember that. I
Yeah.
remember that the first aquarium that I ever bought
We
was,
were talking about using it when I was on Park and Rec for swimming lessons. It was in the Vic Tanny building that was just about where Arby's was.
wow, I didn't
Yeah.
even remember that. Wow, crazy. All right, any other citizen comment? Old business, I don't have any appointments this evening. I guess under mayor's report with regard to the Civil Service Commission, we're looking at ways to modernize that post-Act 10. We've engaged council to do that. J, new business, adopt a resolution approving the settlement of claim of Cassandra Saints. It's recommended by City Attorney Geary that we approve it in the amount of $2,000.
motion to approve.
By Alderperson Akers, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Kastner. Would you please call? Any questions?
Alderperson Druzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Item 2 is approve the 2024-25 operator licenses presented by the clerk. Entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve those.
By Alderperson Bailey, is there a second?
Second.
By Alderperson Kastner, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. With regard to items J, 3, and 4, both are those for the temporary indoor uses from the Harley Zoner Group at the House of Harley. I'd entertain a motion to approve those.
Motion to approve those as written and presented.
By Alderperson Kastner, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Druzwicki, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Under item 5, discussion decision of an outdoor special event application for DJs at the polls to be located at 7215 West Cold Spring Road, which is the Greenfield Community Center, on April 1st, 2025. That's the day of the election.
Motion to deny.
Is there a second?
Second.
Just quickly under discussion. So OSEs historically in our city are for like the Harley, when Harley Davidson does something on the street, or a church does something, or a bar wants to have a walk for cancer or something, right? Those are typically held on private property, right? And that's kind of how they go through the process. Some of them happen on public property within our parks, right? If it's an extended event, okay? We don't have, other than here it is, go do it under the terms of the OSC, we don't follow up with, we don't supervise, we don't do anything unless there's kind of a complaint or something, right? Generally speaking, right? There is a Wisconsin statute, 2020, 5.35, parent 5, regarding polling place requirement activities which are restricted. That language reads, activities restricted, no polling place may be situated so as to interfere with or distract election officials from carrying out their duties. The municipal clerk and election inspector shall prevent interference with and distraction of electors at polling places. Distraction is the word. So while on its face, and I applaud the folks that brought this forward, they want to have music on election day, so when people are in line, that they're all happy and they're distracted and they can vote. That's great. The problem is that the music that they play, the DJing activities that they do, could possibly be construed as interference or a distraction for the electors. There are also First Amendment issues that come to mind. So while they may be playing elevator, I don't know what the music is. I haven't seen the set list, right? I don't know what the DJs are going to be saying, right? But once we get into you can't say that, or you can't play that, or I'm offended by that, we are now getting into First Amendment grounds. And we can't restrict speech. Internally, DJ's Polls has provided a list of what they would do and how they would do it. The issue, again, is that it's not just them. Once you open the door to allowing these kinds of special events at a polling place, you open the door for anyone. So, and I'm not trying to talk about what kind of music is associated with who, but if Taylor Swift came, or Rage Against the Machine was the music, that might have a certain influence from one side of the spectrum, and Kid Rock and Ted Nugent were on the other side of the spectrum, right? Any of those things could be interpreted as somehow distracting or interfering or promoting something at the election. And that's just not appropriate. I talked about Jennifer before when I was talking about the staff and how great they are and how professional they are. It's absolutely nuts, the kinds of stuff that they have to do and comply with throughout the year. When it comes to guidance for things like this, when you ask the people, so should we do this, shouldn't we do it, what do you think? I don't think we ever got any guidance, did we? No. So we asked. So Jennifer and the city attorney and myself, sort of also a lawyer, right? We kind of looked at it ourselves and came to this conclusion because no one else seems willing to provide the answer, right?
Correct.
So Jennifer, you support not having to provide supervision over a DJ, which would probably fall in your lap on an election day?
Yes.
Okay, so that's where we are. Okay, so the motion was made and seconded. I want it for the record because I don't know if I'm gonna or we're gonna somehow get sued or have a claim brought against us because we're denying the applicant, the outdoor special event opportunity. I have provided the DJ Polls March 18th, 2025 letter that they provided to us, to each of you. You agree, you've seen that, you've read it, I asked you to read it before thing. You see the item number 5, committee worksheet and rules for election day conduct, and a copy of the statute. Are you here from them? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you. If you want to come up and speak, you can. I'm sorry, I didn't even see you there. I apologize.
Can I set up a booth and sell insurance?
No, that would be for a commercial purpose. They're not a commercial entity, they're a nonprofit, I think.
A DJ
Is
is.
this on? Do you know?
Should be. Yep, still on.
Okay, yours on. If you could just give us your name and,
Yes. Hi, my name is Erin Anderson. I am the Wisconsin State Project Manager for DJs at the Polls. So I just want to say thank you for your time today, and I just wanted to be here to answer any questions, if you guys have any questions regarding our program, and just provide a little bit more information. I know, like, it can be a little concerning having a DJ at the poll, and it might seem like it can influence voters, and that's not what we're trying to do. We are 100% nonpartisan. We train our DJs, they are professional. We train them to play radio-friendly music, set up 100 feet, at least 100 feet away from the entrance, not be a distraction. We don't want to be a disturbance. We just want to celebrate democracy. Voters and non-voters alike, we are not here to tell anyone which way to vote. We're not here to tell anyone just any information that could sway voters any which way. We literally just want to create a sense of community. We know that sometimes standing in lines can be long, and we just want to, just provide some music. And like I said, we don't want to be a disturbance. We train our DJs to play the music at a reasonable level, radio-friendly music, like I said, that can be played for kids if they're there as well, and just, keeping it 100% nonpartisan, not answering questions about candidates, all of that. So we make sure to really tell our DJs and train them they're professional. We know that we cannot be, we're nonpartisan. So I just wanted to really make that clear and let you guys know that we're not trying to create a distraction or a disturbance or anything like that. We are literally just trying to create a sense of community. We were here in November across Wisconsin at over 200 polling locations. We didn't have any issues. We got a lot of really good feedback from voters and poll workers. We got some media coverage from WISN, TMJ4, but yeah, we didn't have a lot of issues. We were in some polling locations in the city of Greenfield and we didn't have any issues, but we just wanted to go through and get all of our permissions and just let you guys know that we're here to just go with your rules and make sure that we are doing everything that complies with your election office and what you guys say and all your guidelines, but we just wanted to be there to provide the music and just, create a good time for everyone. So, yeah.
thank you.
Where are you out
May I
of?
ask a question?
Are you out of Philadelphia?
Yes. Yep, we were in Philadelphia. We were in North Carolina, Michigan, Florida, and then we were in about 8 states last year.
You got a documentary out there too, huh?
Did you,
I'll go first, then you, okay? Alderperson Bailey, could you speak into the?
yes, were you in other cities in Milwaukee area or
Yep, so,
last November?
yes,
Did you have any complaints?
no,
And you set up,
at least 100 feet away from the polling entrance, not on the sidewalk, just making sure we're out of the way of any foot traffic.
can you mention some of those other cities that you were at?
Yep, we were in Milwaukee, Madison, we were in, I have a list. Milwaukee, Madison, we were in Wauwatosa, Brookfield, Shorewood, Franklin, Beloit, we were out in Waukesha. We were all across Wisconsin, at least about 260 polling locations.
Did you say you were in Greenfield?
Yes. Yep, we were in Greenfield.
Shut down.
Doing,
Where?
ex-
Shut down.
do,
Oh.
oh, wait, let her, I asked a.
She knows, I mean,
Yeah, I know. I'm just wondering what she's
Yeah,
going to
we
say.
were at I believe, 3 polling locations in Greenfield last year.
And what happened?
So there was one at the Greenfield Community Center that they did ask us to leave just because they didn't know that we were coming. But then there was 2 other ones. We were at the Greenfield Public Library and Adoration Lutheran Church. We didn't have any.
yeah.
Oh, so,
without permits or they just were there.
so you were there without permission?
It was-
Because I don't remember ever voting on this before.
We didn't.
Did we vote on this?
No, they didn't
So
have permission.
you did this without our permission?
Well, I was.
Somebody did, right?
I was one of the
Oh,
state project
okay.
managers. There was someone that was working on election official outreach permits and all of that. So we
Oh.
have someone that was working on that. I was not aware if there was not the correct permission, so
Oh, okay.
This type
So
of
may I
yeah.
ask, so what do you have, a DJ playing music from a,
So we have professional DJs. It's we have them in a small setup. It's just a 4x6 table, just a
Okay.
tablecloth. And a
and what
speaker.
type of music do you play?
It's radio-friendly music.
Well, are you going to play classical music?
We will play all types of music. So we told our DJs to keep it a mix, and they're DJs, so we told them to also just read the crowd, know what type of folks that are, you just got to play music that is radio-friendly for everyone, that everyone will enjoy. So a good mix of all radio-friendly
Okay.
music.
And one last question, are these volunteers who do this?
Our DJs? No, our DJs are professional DJs that we hire, train, and pay.
And who pays them?
Our DJs at the polls. We have funding to pay them.
Do you
Oh,
tell them that it's great to promote themselves? DJs?
Like while they're DJing?
So in other words, you tell the DJ that if they come out and do this at the polls, they'd be good for promoting themselves.
We let-
Apparently, because it's on the internet, that says if you go and DJ there, it's great promotion for the DJ, which is back to my question, whether or not I could sell insurance at a table outside the polls.
Well, we tell them not to promote anything. We just say that if someone were to ask about their DJ services, that they're not allowed to answer. But the purpose isn't to promote their DJ
They're promoting
services.
themselves.
That's not their purpose is to just play music on Election Day and celebrate democracy, not necessarily to promote themselves.
So do you play like
And we don't have
the
them use
Star
their-
Spangled Banner and John Philip Sousa music to promote democracy? Is that the type of music you play?
No, it's just to celebrate democracy. That's all. Voters and non-voters
but I mean-
alike. It's for everyone.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
It's
And I really applaud what you're trying to accomplish because the world is a really tense place and sometimes music can calm us all down. And that would be a wonderful thing. The problem that I have, just legally, right, is that I can't control the speech of your DJ. I can't control the music of your DJ, nor do I want to, because that gets into First Amendment grounds if we give you permission with time, place, and manner to play at a polling place. And that's just, I think it's altruistic. I think it's awesome. I love, I don't know.
Have you gotten permission from other city councils?
yes, we have.
Which ones can you say?
I have a list. It's quite a list. Give me 1 second. So we have from Milwaukee, Oak Creek, Eau Claire, Cudahy, Greendale.
You don't have Greenfield?
I said
Dale.
Greendale.
Yeah.
Oh, Greendale thing, I'm sorry.
Yep.
So
Oak
just to be
Creek.
clear, you can approve this, right?
Oh,
But
yeah.
you are setting the precedent for any other person that comes in that wants to do an event during election on voting day.
Right. Like a magic show,
Or like, I don't know,
Comedian.
because that would lift my
so
spirits.
things like this are regulated by time, place, and manner, right? That's it. What they do during that and how they express themselves when they're there is, she can't, and no offense, right? She can say, we're not going to do this, but then she could do it and I can't shut her down
We've had complaints
over everything.
from people when there was a bake sale at one of our polling places. When there was a bake sale, we received complaints.
And I don't make this decision, you do, I can only give you the best advice that I can. But voting is for voting, right? There are complaints about people giving bottled water to people that are standing in line that somehow you're influencing, and who paid for that water, right? Music is subjective, so while it may sound good radio stuff, I mean, I like Journey, I like REO Speedwagon, I like all these bands
And
that,
we're willing to, sorry, I did not
you don't
mean
have to
cut
play
you
Journey
off.
and REO Speedwagon
I
to
was just
get,
gonna say,
but
we're-
I'm just saying that that's the problem, right? The stuff my 20-year-old, 22-year-old kid listens to, I have no idea who these people are. None.
And even if you guys were like, well, this is the only music that you guys can play, we would be willing to.
But I can't do
Well,
that.
all of our voters aren't the same.
And that's why we would play a mix.
But that's not,
But how are you gonna know when the voter who likes the music is entering? See, it's too weird for me.
or if the DJ watches the
can't-
crowd, right? He,
but
I
there's
mean,
a
I just, please don't.
I
mean,
think there's a motion on the floor. Can I?
motion, all right. All right.
question?
Yeah, is
I don't
there a
wanna go through
second?
that process.
I second.
Seconded, could you call?
Okay, this is for
This is to oppose.
oppose,
Tonight.
To deny.
to deny.
This is a motion to deny it. Yes.
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers,
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, sorry.
Thank you.
No, it's not you, trust me.
No, it's not you, and I'm not, you did a good
You
job.
seem very nice.
Item
It's
six,
just the-
so item 6 is to adopt a resolution declaring a prohibition on the holding of outdoor special events at active polling places, sites during elections. This is to kind of review and update the hold that was in the OSC. So,
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
by Alderperson Akers, there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Driswicky, would you call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers,
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Okay, item 7 is to approve an outdoor special event application for Dan Jansen Fest from May 22nd through May 26th. Entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
By Alderperson Akers, there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Driswicky. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, then items, you can take them separately or together, but items 8 and 9 are approving special use reviews for Melton Dip, which is on 7820 West Layton, and Camaria Coffee, which is at 4818 South 76th Street. These are to temporarily increase the hours of operation.
I'll make a motion to approve those for temporarily approving the hours of operation for 5 years.
No, no.
That's the way it came out of planning commission, but you guys can change that to
I think you
indefinite.
have to do it
years.
every year.
So,
But just remember, I want to just,
go for it.
when it comes to special uses are rights that attach to the property, not to the business.
I got that, but Ramadan doesn't come
So,
around.
okay, so if it's not Melton Dip anymore, and during Ramadan,
It's a bar.
a bar or something,
They'd
I don't know.
have different hours
It could
of
be a dry
operation.
cleaner, right?
Yeah,
The right to stay open during Ramadan attaches to the business or to the property. I would strongly suggest that you do these annually. Because if either of these places go out of business and something else replaces them, then that legal right flows with it. Right? It's a what?
It's tied to the tenant space individually.
So
correct?
who's ever in that tenant
In the tenant,
space
I just want
can
to make
do
sure it's not,
that.
because it's a multi-tenant building for both of them, I just wanted to mention that.
I wouldn't-
we can play this game every year, I don't care.
Or if you, that's what I would do.
Changes
What's the
motion
harm in
to
it?
annual?
Annually, yeah, to approve it for this
What's
year.
the harm in doing it every year? That's what I mean.
okay.
Yeah. So-
Yeah. But because it's a land use right is why you want to do it every,
Year.
because,
I
or
can't,
you could just say, you can do it, but then if something else goes in there, they have the right to do it for the next 5 years.
well, 4.
4.
I didn't, it was indefinite before, so we narrowed it down to 5 at planning, and now you're going every year. It just doesn't matter. Just
Is there a
applying every
fee
year.
If you wanna do it
is
for
there a
5 years, do
fee
it
for them?
If you
to-
want to put something in the motion that says something like, so long as it is this that this temporary use is limited exclusively to these owners and this use.
Operator.
Operator.
Can we do that?
Yeah, but then the operator will change and you'll have to come and do it again anyway. So it does, you can do whatever you want. I wouldn't do it.
Is there a fee for them to apply for this change?
Yes, there is. Every time they apply, it's $350.
So that would be the,
I don't care about the $350. I care about
well,
the-
you don't care. The the business.
Make it for 5 years, and if something bad happens, then something bad happens. But I don't know. Is that what the recommendation was from the
The
planning?
recommendation wasn't for it to go on indefinitely, it was only for 5 years.
How about this, you make a motion to approve the special use for 1 year, but waive the application fee for the existing user and use for the next 4. So when they come in, they don't have to pay $350 every time. Could do that, right?
So my motion is,
Okay.
That is
Does
your
that make-
motion?
it is.
Okay.
It's
That's
not
fair.
worth fighting about.
I think that's fair. Okay, motion was made. It's
I'll
to
second it.
approve the special use for 1 year,
Okay.
but to waive the application fee for up to 4 more years
If they apply.
if they apply.
If the same
If
applicant
they apply
applies.
at that location.
If the same
Second,
applicant
I
applies.
agree.
Okay, motion by Kastner, second by Bailey. Would you please call it, right? Or was it Akers, that second?
Yeah, I seconded
But
it.
No, she did.
So the official record keeper says that it was Acres. She
Okay,
must have done it
that's fine.
simultaneously.
No,
No,
she
I
did
did it
it,
before.
she did it 3 minutes
All right.
ago.
Well, if you hadn't, I don't know, just look at your phone.
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers,
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 10 is to approve a special use review and site plan review for the ownership change to Mr. Chicken, a wonderful chicken location at 3322 West Forest Home.
No, it's not Forest Home, it's Loomis Road.
Or Loomis, sorry,
Put
Jesus.
your glasses on, dude.
Oh, that's right, that's where my chicken place is, unfortunately. I don't have one, yeah, so, on Loomis, no, they've provided dinner to the planning commission and the common council
I
And the
haven't,
members
I
of the
haven't
audience.
had any, so I can vote
with a clear
saying,
conscience.
with a clear conscience. And I may have some afterwards if it's still there.
Really?
So I,
Well, you can only have some if you vote for him. That's not true, I just made that up. That's not true, Mr. Sherbarth, don't call the DA on me or something. All right, okay, so I'd entertain a motion to approve
Motion to approve.
by Alderman Driswicky. Is there a second?
second.
Second by Alderperson Sarian. All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, we have to call it, sorry.
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers,
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian,
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey,
Aye.
Item 11 is approve a final subdivision plat for Parkview Estates, a proposed single-family development to be located 35th and West Barnard, submitted by Raul Gonzalez, doing business as First West Construction. This is the property that's near the middle school.
In
The
front of it,
plat
kind
had
of.
previously been approved. It expired because of construction and interest rates, and now it's coming back for just reaffirmation, I guess.
Can I ask where the entrance is to the subdivision or plan?
It's not going to be off the driveway going into the middle school. It's going to be, what is that, Holmes?
The frontage road?
It'll be
The
a
frontage
dead
road,
end
the
for
frontage road and
cul-de-sac.
Holmes.
Okay.
There won't be driveways into 35th
35th?
Street.
Traffic
I'm just,
wouldn't,
it just traffic over there.
No,
No,
be
so,
insane.
and there's no through street. The frontage road doesn't continue north to.
don't even think the corner lot has access to that street either.
It doesn't. No,
No,
it
there's
doesn't.
some side streets, I don't know if that's
yeah,
36th
the
Street or
frontage road would have to
34th
connect
Street.
in.
Yeah.
It's the frontage road. It's a frontage road but it's really a road, so.
Yeah, they're just gonna extend that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So I'd entertain a motion to approve
Motion to approve.
By Kastner, is there a second?
Second.
By Alderperson Sarian, would you call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Item 12 is approve an amendment to the professional services agreement between the City of Greenfield and Safe Belt, Wisconsin LLC. This is our inspection company.
Motion for approval.
A motion
Second.
by Alderperson Kastner, is there
Second.
second by Alderperson Akers? Would you call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Item 13 is the 2025 Wisconsin Park and Recreation Association theme park ticket agreement. Entertain a motion to approve.
I move for approval.
Alderperson Sarian, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderperson Kastner. Would you please call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner,
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Items 14, 15, 16, I'd like to take together. Those are the standard Finance Committee items for investments, reinvestments, disbursements, and reimbursements. Entertain a motion to approve 14, 15, and 16.
I move for approval.
Alderperson Sarian, second by Alderperson Kastner. Would you please call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner.
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Alderperson Bailey.
Aye.
Item 17, Common Council to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 1985, parent 1, parent little e, and parent little f to consider the following: deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require closed session. B, considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data of specific persons, preliminary consideration of specific personnel problems, or the investigation of charges against specific persons, except where paragraph little b applies, which, if discussed in public, would be likely to have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data or involved in such problems or investigations. Entertain a motion to go into closed session for those reasons.
So moved.
By Alderperson Akers, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Alderperson Sarian. Would you please call?
Alderperson Juzwicki,
Aye.
Alderperson Kastner.
Any of this stuff? Do you need to take any of this back with you?
That's you.
Alderperson Kastner.
Aye.
Alderperson Akers.
Aye.
Alderperson Sarian.
Aye.
Thought they
Alderperson
wanted to
Bailey.
say something in from planning.
Did you?
Did you guys want to say something from planning? No. Oh, okay.
Okay.